Well, as Ontario gears up for its June provincial election, the Ontario Student Trustees Association is offering a rare glimpse into life as a high school student. The organization released a document that outlines key education issues they would like the government to address, proving students in 2018 are more aware than ever of what happens in their classrooms is only a part of a great education. Joining us now is the Ontario Student Trustees Association's president, Dasha Metropolitansky. Good to have you here with us, Dasha.
I'm so excited to be here.
In the creation of this document, you surveyed more than 8,000 Ontario students, so a large pool, big sampling. What did you hear about their high school experiences?
We heard from students that, education isn't perfect for them and there is a lot of room for improvement. Some of the results were quite shocking. There were a wide range of concerns. Some of the most startling findings include, for example, students were saying that 2 in 3 of them felt their mental health resources at school weren't accessible. 75% felt that they were ineffective. Fewer than half of students felt that their teachers understood and accommodated their individual learning needs. So these were some really startling findings that we heard from them.
Governments across the country are investing a lot of money in some of the issues you mentioned, like mental health, and in doing like an independent education plan, like addressing some of those individualized needs. But you're saying there's still something that's missing in our schooling experience here in Ontario. Where do you feel like the government is falling short?
So the government is investing more money in these things, and more money is obviously good, but oftentimes there is a gap between the vision that's created by the government and the reality as it's experienced by students. So in this case, there are many challenges that students have identified, like their ability to access a guidance counselor, for example, or their ability to know where the resources for mental health are located, who they can talk to. So the money is being given to the local school boards, but it might not be put in the right places all the time.
What I really like about this document is it's not, students giving a list of demands. They're acknowledging that, yes, you're trying, but this is how it's being played out on the front line. So it's a really good opportunity for people who are making the decisions to say, okay, we haven't just checked off a box saying, yep, more money to mental health. This is how it's actually is or isn't being distributed well.
And it's something we were very conscious of too. Like, we don't just want to be another report that's like, here's a statistic saying the education system is imperfect. We want to concretely put out policy recommendations, there are 16 of them, that any political party could implement into their education platforms.
Are you confident that this will be heard given the fact that mostly this is coming from high school students, most of whom can't vote?
And this is the gap. It's like, these are students, only 18-year-olds, so people who are leaving the education system or in their final year who are able to vote. But it's too late by that point for them to give feedback about their education. So we're trying to make sure that they will be heard by those politicians.
For people who aren't familiar with individualized instructions, can you explain what that means and why it's needed?
So it looks like teachers, for example, knowing that the student might need more support. So they might need more time to write a test or an assignment. They might need a special aid. They might need to write it online instead of on paper. It could be whatever that student needs to ensure that they are equipped to do their best within the classroom.
Okay. Good to have you here. I am hopeful to see where this document goes. Have you had any response from anyone in government yet?
We had all of the political parties come to or send representatives to our press release at Queen's Park, and we're in touch with all of them, and we're scheduling meetings to ensure that they hear and act upon these recommendations.
One last question for you, Dasha. You've had an opportunity to present it in front of them. What are you going to do to make sure it actually is implemented?
We're going to monitor very closely their education platforms as they evolve and change up to the election coming up in June, and we're going to push them to say it's critical that you listen to what students are saying.
Good to have your voice on this story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.